You're live. It always says you're live, but then whether or not I'm actually live. Excuse me. Okay, so about a week ago, I had ordered these boots. Now, I had commented on other people's videos in the past that I didn't think either of these brands necessarily looked worth the money, quote unquote, however you know, rationalize that. You try to watch the Roseanneville videos and go from there, I guess. So I had bought the Thursday Maverick boots instead. I just did that video not that long ago of the unboxing of these, which I've worn once now, which I will discuss. These, of course, were the closest thing I could find to the old Tony Lama video or boots, where I did those videos a year ago about Dingo, Tony Lama, Laredo, Ariat. So I've covered a few different cowboy boots. Now, these, of course, being my size, but run too small. And so I can't fit in these. I might try to get them rebuilt and see if I can still wear them because I just like the look of them. And I can't seem to find any Tony Lama stuff that has this type of toe anymore. It seems like they've gone all square toe. So the Thursday boot, I don't know if you can really tell, I had to size up half a size. Same. Because I tried these in a 7 and couldn't get my feet in them. And I think in their website, they even say size a half down. And that was not true. I know I'm talking about two totally different brands of boots right now than the two in the marquee. But then if people comment on either this video or this video, I can refer them to this new video and say, hey, I answered those questions already. And it's relevant, because these are boots that I already have. I didn't need 2 more pairs of boots. Okay. Well, again, I got these very recently, whereas these I've had for over 10 years. And then when I finally went to wear them, was like, oh God, I can't slip in that anymore. But backstory time, which I may or may not have discussed. And before we get into these boots, might as well talk about detailing. So when I was, I don't know, 8 or 10, whenever it was, I got my first real pair of cowboy boots. And in those days, I'm pretty sure the leather was actually decent quality for what you were getting at, Buster Brown's or Zodi's or wherever it was. And what little money my parents would have had, we weren't exactly riding the gravy train until, a couple years later when the economy started to really kind of turn around. But I had a square toe, flat front pair of boots, and they were probably not, the full cowboy shaft. They were probably closer to a roper height, but a little bit taller. But again, adjust for size because I was, a very small child. Now I'm a much bigger adult, so I'm trying to remember a boot that I haven't looked at in many decades, or a couple decades anyway. But yeah, I'd say they were probably a 10 or 11, not in actual inches, but like, comparatively, like this would be a 12 or 13 almost. And so those ones were probably, and I think they did have pull tabs and probably not too squishy of a leather. This one's nice and stiff. The Thursday is obviously going to squish faster. And that's one of the other reasons I wanted to show, because I want to be able to compare this. So even though this boot cost me less a few years ago, overall, I still think it's better than this. Again, how do you, gauge that exactly? Like, I like the stiffness of it. I like the less shiny sheen of it. It's got a more natural texture, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So around this time when I'm a young buckaroo, I'm running around on the playground in my flappy square-toed cowboy boots and feeling all confident and good about myself. And then some friends I had who had family still in Texas. They had lived there or something. I don't know. They live there again now, like everybody. They had gone to Texas and bought some boots that were probably pretty similar to this, and came back talking about how my boots were terrible and not real cowboy boots, which, again, actually for the money in those days, they probably were. They were just a different style because they had the pull tab instead of the 2 holes. but they probably didn't have any fancy stitching. You know, they were probably just like a reddish brown. I remember the color pretty well, but not the actual material because, again, don't know. And again, the style of the toe was not this, you know, almond. This became the fashion for cowboy boots for a very long time until now all of a sudden it's out of fashion. And I don't know why, because ever since I saw my buddy's perfect Texas cowboy boots held into my face, you know, he was a couple of years older than me too. So chances are, even if I wanted those boots, I couldn't have found them in my size, which is the same problem I almost have now. But so that was kind of my standard. I wanted something with a nice stiff shaft, something tough, something real, something blah, 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 something with nice stitching, maybe something with 2 holes if I can get them. That's kind of been my gold standard. And I don't know what brand they were. You know, there's comments that I've been reading in the CHISOS videos, I think. And the guy was saying, you know, these are for show. These aren't real work boots. And then someone else was saying, you know, or maybe it was, there was 2 of them arguing back and forth. And the one was saying, you got to buy American boots to get real work boots. I don't know if that's entirely true, again, because maybe Tony Llama would suit me if they could produce a toe I like. I mean, obviously I didn't buy Thursday boots expecting them to be the roughest, toughest cowboy boots, but I figured they were inexpensive enough and they look nice enough that if I'm not wearing them for work purposes, they'll be fine. And if I was wearing them for work purposes, since I'm not like if I'm doing anything really, 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 really worky, I'm probably not wearing cowboy boots anyway. And most people, myth shattered, who are buying cowboy boots these days are not riding horses anyway. They're, you know, country singers or country music fans, or they live in places that were never cattle areas, like, I don't know, Georgia. Was Georgia a cattle area? I mean, maybe at one point, but it would have been before this style of boot would have been, you know, a thing. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into the history. I don't know the whole history of the origin of every single type of boot. I just know that this looks pretty close to this, even though I know it's not the exact same thing. I would say that one's going to be more durable if I'm putting it through its paces, but this is still leather. It's just probably, it might be, yeah, it's probably a tiny bit thinner, but I mean, not like a ton, but it's just more supple. And some of you might like that. You know, you might like your boot to squash down a bit and whatnot. The problem I had with these, which again, I'm going into it because, like I said, this is important, was I ordered these and said, well, you know, why am I ordering? You know, I want to order, but I want to. I just made the Mocktober video, I think already. I don't remember. And said I'm not going to be doing any Mocktoe boot videos. So I decided I was going to do Western boot videos instead and compare all these, which is why, again, I'm comparing all of them. And even though I could bring in 3 other pairs, I'm not going to because, again, the Ariat Ramblers and the blah, 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 you can look up. Okay, so Saturday, I'm all confident. I'm feeling good. I just watched a couple videos. I ordered the CHISOS. And then, I don't know, it just in my brain, I was trying to find a video where anybody had kind of compared them to Tecovas, apart from, again, people arguing in the comments about which ones are better. And I was like, okay, well, if nobody else has done that video, then I'll do that video. And I went back and ordered a pair of Tecovas a couple hours later. And now I had been getting their catalogs for years, and I'd never seen any styles that appealed to me hardly at all. It seemed like they mostly had roper boots. Again, so, you know, this, you know, snip or squared or whatever here. I didn't really investigate the website where I was finally able to find like one model in 2 colors that I kind of like, and the other color is a goat skin, which again might not be quite as tough as a cow hide. So don't know, your results may vary. If I have to exchange these, I might get a pair of those and do a video about that. I don't know. But so then the next morning I went out and I put these on and I went walking for a little bit less than an hour, and I was already pretty sweaty. And I came back and I almost wrenched my arm out of socket trying to get the left one off. And then the right one, I was Yeah, this one's not as bad. Yeah, I really scuffed up the back of it trying to pull this one off using the outdoor step thing as a kind of a wedge, or you know what I mean, trying to jam the thing against here so I could pull it off, and didn't really work. And so I don't know if that directly, but then I wasn't injured. I finally got the boot off with the help of an assisted family member who fortunately was around. And then I turned around and I put on the Grant Stone field boots, and I went for another hour-long walk or so just to try and break them in, because like I said in the Mocto video, I want to really get into all these boots. Well, as soon as I got home and took off the Grant Stone boots, and I'll save that segment for another conversation, but those are a wedge sole, and so I don't know if going from this sole to the wedge sole has anything to do with it or not, but I totally pulled a muscle in my leg, so I haven't been able to walk since. So I took a 2-hour walk, one just enough to start scuffing these, and one just to walk in those. So I'm kind of reluctant to even try these on and try to walk now. So it's kind of annoying. Kind of hard to do boot review videos when you can't wear the boots. But before I open the box, I should show what the box is. So we're starting with Tecovas instead of CHISOS because, once again, they are the lower price ones, right? So if we're going to argue if a boot is worth the price, again, we're starting with what that price should be. And so again, these being like $230 or something. These were like $150 at the time, but Shepler's or Boot Barn or somebody might have been having a sale. I might have got these discounted. They might have been $300 at the time, which would make them actually more expensive than these now when you adjust for whatever. But I sure probably didn't pay $350 for them, or if memory serves. I don't know. I got 2 pairs, so at least one of them I probably got at a discount because there was just no way I was buying boots. Okay, so in the Tecovas box, there's this writing that I will read that you can see. So this is awkward, but congrats on your new pair. We hope they fit great and that you enjoy them for years and years. Inside this box, you'll find an envelope that tells you how they should fit, which we'll get to that in a minute. How to care for them and how to return them should you need to swap for another size. Be sure to try them on carpet first so the soles don't get scuffed until you know they're yours to keep. Holler at blah, blah. If we can help you, we always love to talk about boots. Now, I didn't call them first or whatever. Like I said, I went to the website and ordered what should be my size. My size in LL Bean, my size in Nike, my size in Vans, my size in Converse. That's what I consider my size, which, as those of you who watched that one video I did about, I think it was Grant Stone boots, I went to Men's Warehouse and put my foot in that stupid metal clicky thing, and it came up this length and this width and nothing aberration. Like, it wasn't super wide. It was just normal width. And yet, like I said, with almost every pair of boots of different brands that aren't, like I said, sneakers or LL Bean, they've all been either too big or too small. It's been like nobody carries my size, and my size actually fits, except for like the Thursday President boots, which again, when I went to size these, I used that size and they were still too small. Okay. So full disclosure, two key things. And here's this card. We'll read this in a minute. I already opened this box and looked at the first boot. Okay. The other one I haven't opened yet. Howdy. There's nothing quite like pulling on the perfect pair of boots. We hope these fit great and quickly become your favorites. After all, good times usually follow a pair of good boots. Scan the code above with your phone's camera for info on how they should fit. What to do if they don't. Okay, well, that's a nightmare because I'm not going to scan that. I'm going to call that phone number. To return unworn products within 30 days. Okay, 30 days. So I don't need to rush this video, but we're doing it anyway because both of these came yesterday. I got an email from the one company saying they were coming, but I didn't realize. I thought they were coming in the one delivery service, and then they weren't in the mail, and then suddenly they were on the porch when I checked an hour later and was like, oh, lo and behold, there's boots. And then when I thought that must have been the other carrier, then the other carrier that was actually that carrier that I thought would be, or blah, 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 he showed up later with the other boots that I didn't know was coming because CHISOS didn't send an email. Okay. Check your fit. Try on your boots on carpet in case you need to return them. To return unwanted, or sorry. Lost my place. Unworn, not unwanted products within 30 days, visit returns. Okay, at the .com. Pull your boots on by holding on to the pull straps on the top or back of the shaft. You should feel a little resistance and a rush of air as your foot lands in the boot. Forcing it is an indication you may have the wrong size. Yeah, one would think, like I said, if you can't put it on, don't keep trying to put it on. You'll never get it off. You'll have a really miserable time, even if you have, again, ones that do fit, and you get home late at night and your feet have swelled and you're worried that you're going to have to cut the boot off or sleep in them, as has been the case with me way back when. Actually, it was probably these, which is why you can see they've been worn once and not since. Because, yeah, I probably had a miserable time getting those off and realized my feet don't fit in these now, even though they did when I first got them or whatever. Okay, the right fit will be snug along the sides and across the top if you're in step but not uncomfortable. Qualifiers. When I was wearing these, like I said, even though they fit, they have the foam on the inside. That is kind of a new thing. Like, I don't remember ever owning a pair of Cowboy boots before that had foam insoles. These do. But again, I probably wore these once. What's in there? So yeah, I don't know. It's like there's a leather. There's a leather heel cover maybe, or vinyl on top of some padded stuff. So yeah. So okay. So yeah, that's been going on for a while, but I don't know that all of my boots have had that feature. But so anyway, so yeah, walking around with the foam, it's a bit more squishy and it will never conform the way leather will. I don't know if I'm going to try and get these rebuilt with leather insoles ever or not, but I did take my old pair of insoles that fit with my hiking boots, and they fit perfectly inside of these, and they fit perfectly inside of the Grant Stone boots. So I'm debating which ones I should use, because I'm worried that if I make them more snug, then I'll have even more difficulty getting these off, whereas the Grant Stone boots at least have laces. Blah, blah, blah. I could move them from one boot to the other, but that only lasts for, a week, and then you forget and leave them in. This area will stretch a little depending on the type of leather you've chosen. Okay, so we'll see. Again, if this stretches too much more, they're going to be too big. Whereas the other size, again, you couldn't even get them on. So Cowboy boots are kind of a pain in the butt if you can't try them on first. This mail order stuff is almost for the birds, but like I said, or didn't say, or maybe said before, or implied somewhere, I don't know. When I go to Boot Barn, they have nothing that I want, right? So I can try them on all day there and still not want to buy any of them because they all look ugly or not the type that I'm trying to get. You should be able to wiggle your toes a little as the toe box will not likely stretch. The heel may lift ½ inch or so when you walk. This is normal and will reduce over time. If your heel is lifting much farther than that, your boots may be too big. Okay, now I wasn't getting any real heel slippage with these. I was getting them actually with the Grant Stone boots that have laces, which is kind of surprising. But since I went from the narrow size to the wide size, the heels aren't the same. It's kind of like, do you want your toes smashed or do you want your heel sloppy? Can't win. Again, mail order boots. I am almost completely over the whole mail order boots thing at this point, but there's no other real option because, again, when you go to the store, you're not getting what you want. Okay, so already we're, like I said, I cheated. Already we're seeing a very not stiff shaft here, though. Okay, so strike one, right? Because, like I said, the one thing that I want is that. And as I was saying, we're about to say, I am very biased against these boots already because they come from Mexico. And, you know, whatever you want to say about immigration and blah, blah, this has nothing to do with any of that. What this is about is Mexico, like it or not, is a third world country, period. Their standard of quality is not the same as our standard of quality, no matter how much they're going to charge for a thing. So this, with this shaft, which some people might like this supple of a leather, but it's even more supple than this boot that cost, or slightly less than this boot that cost less money, like a good $100 less, and fits just fine. So why I'm paying extra for something that, like I said, I found one model in 2 colors that I might be able to live with. But are they worth the money overall? Maybe. I mean, you know, they might have some redeeming qualities. I'm not the biggest expert on, you know, all the leathers and all the materials and all that, but it has this reddish kind of plasticky color, which is disgusting to me. Okay. I knew it when I ordered them. Like I said, the other goat skin ones had a better color brown, but they didn't have them in my size. Again, my size probably being the wrong size, because like I said, I opened these already. And I tried to try it on as much as I could with my leg being all screwed up. And I don't know if you could really tell. I was trying to hold them up to each other. Oops. And the Thursday one has the lining, like I said, which I think is what gives it the additional stiffness. I'm not saying this is top quality leather. I know all the Thursday ads insist that they have the top quality leather. Well, it's maybe the top quality, thinnest, cheap leather they could get. But overall, for the money, no, I'm not impressed with the Tecovas boot so far. Overall, if you like it, if you like the look of it, you know, whatever, fine, you can get them. But I'm pretty sure that this is the wrong size. Like I said, I have a whole half a dozen pairs of boots in there that don't fit. And I'm pretty sure that these don't either. They look very narrow. I'm pretty sure I would need to go up half a size. So like I said, I might swap these out for those goat ones and see how it goes. Some of the stitching here is, as you can see, kind of mediocre, kind of sticking up. The leather looks like a coated plastic kind of thing. I mean, but overall, it's a cowboy boot, right? If you get your right size and you're not going to be doing anything too extreme in them, and you're wearing these to the honky tonk or to go sing or whatever, I'm sure they're fine, you know. But would I want to be doing real cowboy stuff in these? I'm going to agree with that other guy and say no. No, they're not those Texas boots that I saw. They're not exactly this. They're probably not too far off. You know, like I said, I don't know the actual quality of the leather. These are probably pretty low quality leather too, but they have that stiffness that I want. They have that look that I want. I mean, you can just see how beautiful and natural and old timey the one looks compared to Guadalajara Special. I don't know. Yeah. So like I said, I had gotten their catalogs for years. I was not impressed with the look of them. I just thought I would get them to do a boot channel video, period. And like I said, I might exchange them. I might not. I'm not even going to take the second one out of the box to try them on, because I just would never want to wear this. Like I hate the look of this. But for the money, again, if I didn't have these Thursday ones, they might be an option. I don't know if this one's going to have as much horrible stitching issues or whatever. I mean, there's only like 3 or 4, and I'm only noticing them maybe because I'm scrutinizing. But the first thing that happened when I took that one out of the box was that I totally noticed it. Okay. And like I said, I had opened this box yesterday and barely looked at them and was already like, exactly what I thought they were. Mexican boots, no thanks. And so I don't care if that sounds, how that sounds, like, I don't know, too harsh, no, because this is costing now, again, more than I think they should for what I think they are. And that is, again, not work boots, not proper, that kind of pieced together thing. I should take them back out for 5 seconds. Okay. I don't like any of this. just this. I don't like the look of any of this. Okay. I mean, your jeans cover that. So again, if you don't care and you're only going to see this, then fine. But again, this looks like red fucking plastic. Oh, sorry, I cussed. I don't usually cuss, but when I'm worked up, it's going to happen. And I'm being honest. I don't want red plasticky looking boots for over $300. I just don't. That's not going to happen. So, like I said, maybe those brown ones will look more like I would want them to look. Don't know. Okay, so moving on to the CHISOS, which now cost even more than those. Closer to $600, I think. It's almost twice as much. So again, oops. When we get into the are they worth it discussion, that's where it gets tricky, because now, as mean as I've been to these, these guys have a really high bar to live up to. And again, being made in Mexico, in fact, probably being made in the exact same factory in Mexico. I'm willing to go out on a limb. And they maybe just get better cuts of leather or something for the money. Don't know. I'm biased because, again, like I said, these might be low quality boots, but I can feel, I can see, they're closer to what I expect. And again, probably cost me way less at the time. But CHISOS had a pair of ostrich ones that looked pretty cool. I wasn't willing to pony up the $1,000 to test those out. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I haven't tried those other ones on, but just looking at them, I'm pretty sure they're too small. I think I said that already. Howdy, Michael. Thank you for supporting our something small community, company. Sorry. Hope you love the new boots. Thanks, Chris. Well, I hope so too, but you're not. Don't hold your breath. Okay, so I got stickers that I don't, swag. I don't really care for any of this kind of stuff. Other people get all excited, and I don't care. Do right, love Texas. Okay, but they're not made in Texas. You've become part of an ethos pride and stewardship when you pull on your CHISOS boots. Again, will I be able to pull it on today? I don't know. The CHISOS mountains from Texas' most profound Texas's most profound landmark. There's just something about the CHISOS, a site of spiritual renewal for natives and travelers alike. That enchanting namesake guides our small business. Each order supports. I can barely read this. There we go. Okay, each order supports Texas's land conservation. We're thoughtful about leather sourcing, and our community believes that doing the right thing is non-negotiable. Yeah, I'm pretty non-negotiable myself, so we'll see how it goes. When you see someone wearing CHISOS boots, you know what they stand for. Oh, I forgot to show the other thing. Hang on. One of the things I've seen in all those other videos is the branding about this rubber cap outsole. I had complained, and I don't know about these nails and why it's, you know, it's not like this because there's any arch support. That's just a style thing. Okay, the rubber cap. I don't know if you can dance with a rubber cap on your heel. I know you cannot dance with this one also has a rubber cap. These have the rubber cap. I have other boots that are all leather so that I could use them for dancing. When I'm ever going dancing again, I don't know. When I'm ever going to really wear a lot of cowboy boots going forward, I don't know. I really prefer lace on boots now because these offer obviously no ankle support, and I'm not really doing horsey stuff. And so I don't necessarily need these other than they look cool, right? They look like cowboy boots. Yay. Which is, again, why I bought the Thursday ones initially instead of buying these more expensive ones, because it was like, they'll do good enough if they fit for what I'm likely to use them for. Okay, so we got this big hunkin' box now that came in another box, and I gotta pull this out. And now they're in. I kind of hate doing unboxing videos because of all this extra effort and nonsense, but again, I couldn't really put them on and wear them for a week, and it says howdy at the bottom of the box. So howdy. Now these, not as tall of a shaft, a little bit short. I'm gonna have to put them next to each other. Whereas the Tecovas, though, were I think a little bit taller, which is one thing that I did like because I don't want roper boots. I don't like roper boots. I have that one pair of kind of fake Ariat roper boots. Yeah, not a lot. The heel is smaller, but the shaft is a tiny bit higher, maybe a smidge, not much. But a bigger size, maybe the shaft will be a little bit taller. Don't know, we'll see. But overall, I did like the look of this, like way better. So, you know, is the leather the same? I don't know. But this, yeah, no, this feels good. Yeah, that's a good stiffness. I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised, people. I don't necessarily, like I said, they're not the exact boots that I want, but for the money, if they fit, we'll see. Oh, another thing I didn't mention. Yeah, the Tecovas is completely foam insole too. Same as the Thursday. I imagine these will be about the same. There's like an extra squish thing going on in here. Okay. And this is why we buy the things, to check them out instead of just watching a video. Because we see things with our fingers that we couldn't. But that extra squish might be weird. I don't know. And that narrow. I'm thinking this boot's too small, same as the other one. So if I hold it up to the Thursday one. Now the thing, yeah, these are too small. The first thing I noticed with the Thursday boots versus the Tecovas boots, I didn't show yet. And this is just gonna be a long ass video. I don't care. Whoever makes it this far wins the game. They're slightly different shape. You can see there's a lot more articulation around like the toe area where it flares out a bit more. This one is more straight. And when I put them, again, this one's a slightly different size than this one, but when I put them on top of each other, they were actually pretty close. So that was what surprised me, how different the fit seemed like it was going to be. Optical illusion. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, I definitely, like I said, when I tried to put on the Tecovas boot, I didn't force it. I just gave up and said, nope, not going to happen. I'm not going to attempt to hurt myself trying to get off a boot that won't go on. I don't know if I should risk this one. I'm not on carpet either. So I can put down the bag that it came in. See if I can get my foot most of the way in it. And I'm going to try it with the other foot this time. And I'm not even wearing a full sock. So this is a thin ankle sock. And so if I can't get it in with that, then you know it's not going on with the boot sock. Yeah, way too small. Can't get my foot even halfway in the thing. Oh my God, if I got that, if I got that on, I'd never get it off. So that answers that question. CHISOS don't fit either in my size. So strike against, okay, but so they do still have this kind of stamping. They do still have this kind of curved waist deal. I mean, you might as well look at the boot anyway. I mean, even though I'm going to send them back, and whether I reorder them or not, I don't know, because I don't know if I want to spend $600 right now, even though they do look nice. They don't feel, yeah, they definitely don't feel the same as those or those exactly. But as you can see, they don't look plasticky either. Whereas, yeah, like I said, this is just, this is the kind of thing I would expect to be given like a 10-year-old, like I was wearing back in the day. Like I imagine it was that same kind of painted plasticky leather. This is not exactly that, but I mean, they might just be doing some optical illusion thing on me, like I said, because I don't know exactly what they use and exactly where they get it and da-da-da-da-da. But it definitely doesn't look like that. Although, like I said, it's still not exactly this, which again, might be cheap, might be garbage, but it looks and feels what I expect from a Texas boot, right? So yeah, I'm a little at odds to totally say yay or nay. Again, it's going to depend on your price range. Because if you can't afford these and you have to get the Tecovas ones, well then, you know, whatever. But like I said, I think I'd be just as happy with the Thursday ones as the Tecovas one for less money. Whereas this, yeah, this definitely has a nice design. This definitely has a nice color. Is it worth twice as much as this? Or almost, what, 3 times as much as this? Almost, literally almost 3 times as much? Yeah, really, yeah, I'm not positive about that. It doesn't feel that much thicker than this. In fact, it feels about the same thickness. It just doesn't seem to squish as much. But that might end once you start wearing them. They might squish just. Whereas, like I said, this isn't really going to squish the same way. It's still going to squish. I mean, you need them to ease up a little bit. Or, like I said, you can't get them on and off. But anyway, like I said, the other one that had the stamping on the bottom. This one has the Texas stamping. But this has a more embossed rubber pattern going on than just a flat rubber. Yeah, I mean, they both have a little bit more than I noticed at first, actually. So yeah, you can see that the heel is wider and squatter though on the CHISOS one, and that being the same size, so you'd almost expect them to fit. But nope, they're both too small. Whatever that shows. Yeah, they're definitely both too small. So then you got the toe bug. You got the, like I said, I couldn't really give you a good description of how they feel with all this extra cushion because I can't get them on. So the extra cushion will have to wait until another day when I feel like buying more boots or something. And with my leg, I can't even really go to the UPS store right now or whatever. So that's fun. But hopefully by the end of the weekend, I can have all these boots headed back to Texas. They got here in a timely manner. They can get back in a timely manner. Let's look at the second one just to look at the second one. So Howdy isn't exactly good riddance, but again, do I need a pair of $600 boots right now when these fit as well as I could expect for way less? Don't know. So yeah, you can see like the nails there and whatnot, you know. But I don't know, and the leather stacking here, a lot more expressive than, you know, the dark brown or whatever. And you know, details like that, I don't, you know, discount entirely. Like I said, sometimes you will pay extra if you want something that just looks nice. Oh, there we go. Fit guide. That thump. As you first pull on new boots, you should feel resistance until your heel slips into position with a satisfying thump sound. Yeah, I was definitely not looking for any thump sound today. I didn't want to get trapped in this boot. Handshake snug. New boot should fit snug across the top of your foot. Snug, but not uncomfortably tight, or to the point where you don't think you can even pull them on. This part will stretch with wear, and one would hope. Okay, this toe box. Your toes should fit comfortably in the toe box. This area will not stretch. If your toes are cramped, it is best to go up half a size. That's like the same people wrote both of these cards. Heel slip. Your heel may slip up to a ½ inch at first. Over time, the heel counter will adjust to your shape, and this slippage will reduce. Well, my heels aren't going to slip because they're not going to fit. Wear your boots on carpet or a soft rug to test the fit. You scuff them, you keep them. Thanks, y'all. Yeah, well, I don't think I put them on long enough to scuff them. Fortunately, so far nobody's tried to accuse me of over scuffing things I've returned that usually come scuffed in the box somewhat. So another selling feature of these apparently is the blood red insides or something. I don't really care about that. Whatever. Like I said, if there's a lining in a leather like that, it's usually to add stiffness, from what I'm told, which means that this just isn't thick enough. Although I guess some people complain because they don't like to feel the stitching against their legs, whereas with something like this, you're going to feel nothing but stitching all down your leg. Okay, but you can also see that that doesn't matter to me at all. So yeah, overall, I think they look decent. Like I said, I don't know if they're really worth the money still, because there are some nice extra details, but I'm not sure about the markup. And this leather, like I said, doesn't feel that much different. Then it's a little stiffer, but not significant enough to where I would necessarily consider them work boots. I mean, I don't know how much you're worried about a snake biting through this, but it's definitely not, you know, Pacific Northwest, you know, beefy. So again, are you going to take this out on a horse all day, or are you going to wear this to the club? I'm still going with club wear. At the end of the day, I'm just honestly, I'm agreeing with that one guy who said, you know, said they're probably not work boots, or I think it was this brand. I don't remember. It might have been the Tecovas. Might have been both. That's kind of the conclusion I've reached with both, except these just look way better overall. And if they were sending me free ones, maybe I'd be complaining less, because I'd be like, oh, what a beautiful pair of boots. Thanks. I'll wear them everywhere. But they don't fit. So I'm not wearing them everywhere. I'm afraid to put this back in. How can I wear them everywhere when I can't even try them on? So there's that. So that was a really long video that nobody will watch all the way through. But as usual, if you have any questions, you can feel free to put them in the comments. And yeah, we'll go from there, because I don't know what I didn't cover regarding 6 pairs of boots or something, except that like I said, I'm not going to compare them to every other single one I have here, because overall I think these were the best choice. The Ariat boots, I might as well mention again, a lot of times will not have leather all the way. It'll either be synthetic here or synthetic here, that kind of thing. So that. But again, the toughness of the leather, like I said, these don't feel that much thicker or anything, but they do have a less refined texture or something. And like I said, that appeals to me because I'm looking for a specific look, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Rugged would be a word we could use. Yes.